Now, what I'm about to say may sound a little bit shocking, but you've got to hear the truth. And that's whether it's okay to use hookers or prostitutes or escorts or whatever you want to call them to get laid and have sex. Now, you may be thinking that I'm going to say, that's very, very, very bad of you. You bad, 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 naughty little boy. But that's not the case at all. There actually is a little bit of a gray area here. But on the other hand, I'm going to give you some reasons you may never have considered, very subtle but very real reasons why you may want to steer clear of using hookers to get sex. So you want to watch this video all the way to the end, my friend, because if you watch this video and you follow the advice in here, if you truly follow the advice in this video, you can watch your sex life explode, your results with women dramatically increase. But if you turn away and you decide you're not going to watch it, I guarantee you it's going to severely restrict your sexual options in life. This video is that important. Now, this is just a word of warning. I'm not going to get all moralizing on you. Of course, if you ask a woman, is it okay for a man to pay for a hooker? She's going to tell you, no, it's not all right, and she's going to shame you and shame you and shame you until you just want to run away and cry, because women have this gut emotional reaction against a man paying for sex. It's not in her best genetic interest if you do so. Women absolutely hate it because it lowers the value of her own pussy. Men are simply not going to put as much effort into chasing her and courting her and investing in her if there's a lot of easily available prostitutes around to be had, or not even prostitutes, but even girls that you would consider sluts or promiscuous girls that just like to have sex for guys for whatever reason. Those kind of women are threats because they threaten the monopoly that the good girls have of sex over men. They threaten that girl's power. So women will shame other women who are promiscuous, and they will shame men for even considering sleeping with promiscuous women or with a hooker, and they will shame you. Not because it's in your best interest to stay away from these kind of promiscuous women, but because it's in women's best interest. It's in their own best interest that you stay away. And I'm not going to do that here. So I'm not going to tell you some moralizing bullshit. You should do this. You should do that. Everything I'm going to tell you, my friend, is in your best interest. Your best interest. Not your parents' best interest, not society's best interest, not some girl's best interest, not the best interest of some white knight that just wants to get a pat on the back for saying the right thing to be liked by all the girls, not the best interest of a politician that just wants to get polite applause for saying the politically correct thing, but your best interest. So this advice is going to be as real and as raw as it can be. So what's the merit of using hookers, my friend? Well, I want you to think of using hookers as almost like this cheat code in a video game. You've got this incredible PlayStation game. It can be a lot of fun to play. It can be very rewarding. On the other hand, when you're first starting out especially, it can feel incredibly frustrating. There's a very steep learning curve where it doesn't really feel like you're getting out of it what you're putting into it. It would be so great just to jump to the end of the game because you're pulling your hair out and you want to give up, and it feels frustrating and humiliating playing this game if you're not used to it. But suddenly you've got this cheat code, my friend, and you grab your controller and you press in A, B, up, down, left, right, and suddenly you are taken to the end credits of that video game, and now you have won. You have won the game. Now, what exactly is that game? Well, that game, of course, is opening girls, approaching girls, talking to girls, physically escalating on women, learning how to lead a conversation forward, learning how to be a positive dude, learning how to generate your own emotions from within, learning how to dress stylishly, learning how to be a social guy, learning how to be a friendly and cool guy, and just an all-around charismatic dude that attracts girls. And what's so great about the game, what I love about the game, and why I think pickup is one of the greatest hobbies on the face of the planet, is that it keeps you sharp like a razor. Pickup is almost an extreme form of self-therapy because it burns away your flaws, it burns away your oddities and weird traits to become this more normal, friendly, cool, and charismatic dude, and teaches you things that your parents never taught you and that school never taught you. Because girls will punish you. They will punish you for having these negative, unattractive qualities. Girls will punish you mercilessly for not making eye contact. Girls will punish you mercilessly for being stuck up inside your head, telling yourself all this negative, hateful self-talk that weighs yourself down. So to succeed in game, you have to literally burn away all the crap and all the burden and all the trash that is keeping you down so that you can emerge like a phoenix from the fire. You can emerge as that new man that takes action, which is what translates into business success and relationship success and success in your health and success in life. Now, when you rely on hookers for sex, yes, it's fun. Yes, it's exciting. Yes, it's titillating. But most importantly, it's extremely comfortable and extremely easy. And now you are training your brain that when you pick up that phone and you dial that number and you speak a few little words, suddenly a girl shows up at your front door. And what happens is that you quickly lose your motivation to walk through that trial by fire and do that self-therapy that is pickup. Listen, your brain and body want to conserve time and energy and essentially be lazy. And when you have girls just showing up at your door for doing no effort at all, your brain starts telling you, dude, this is awesome. You're doing absolutely nothing and you're continuing to get pussy. Whatever you are doing is working. So don't bother eating healthy. Don't bother going to the gym. Don't bother practicing sharpening your social skills. You don't need that crap because that's a lot of effort. That's not going to give you anything. It's not going to give you a return. And whatever you're doing right now is freaking awesome. So just lay back and be lazy and be a sloth-like slug instead. And it's the truth. It's the literal truth. Men I know who go to hookers, they tend to put on weight. They tend to become socially slow and socially retarded. They tend to lose their way and they fail to become their best selves because they no longer have pickup putting that pressure on them to keep their more weird or strange tendencies in check, to keep them on the right path. Just like you need a lot of pressure and a lot of heat to form carbon into a shiny and pretty diamond. The second issue with banging hookers is that you lose your ability to tell cool stories. What I love about pickup, what I love about real, regular girls is that you build this vast library of really interesting stories that you can tell your friends. And they can be just basic stories. Like, I walked into a coffee shop, I spotted this really cute girl. I was nervous, but I went to talk to her. We hit it off, and the next day I had this girl naked in my bed. How many guys can say they've done something like that? How mind-blowing is that you can walk into a coffee shop not knowing anybody and meet this girl, get your penis inside of her the next day? That was a mind-blowing 48 hours. And you know, my life is crazy because I never know what's going to happen today. It's this big, crazy adventure. It's a blast. It's fun. And those are stories you can tell your friends or your siblings. Those are stories you can tell yourself when you are 85 years old on your deathbed and look back on your life and be like, damn, I lived a pretty freaking amazing life. I had some incredible adventures, stories that are going to put a smile on your face. But when you use a cheat code, you don't brag to your friends about cheating to the end of a video game because you don't take pride in what you've done. It's not much of a story when you just jump to the very end credits. And in this sense, you are robbing your life of the adventure that can be. You are robbing your life of these stories. You are robbing yourself of the camaraderie you could have with other men, sharing these stories, telling your stories, and swapping stories. The third reason that sleeping with hookers doesn't serve you well in the long run, my friend, is that there's a certain spark in a girl that actually wants to sleep with you, a spark in her smile, a spark in her eyes, a spark in her attitude when she is genuinely horny and wet for you, and a certain particular sexual connection, an emotional connection when you've seduced a girl the proper way where she is genuinely aroused to sleep with you. Whereas most hookers view men as dolts and idiots. Most hookers disrespect and resent their male clients, and you only have value to her as long as you are paying her. And there's almost this physical and emotional barrier between you and the prostitute. A physical and emotional barrier where you can't quite connect, where she's walled herself off to you. Whereas with a real girl that you've met through pickup, doing it the proper way, suddenly you can have this blossoming of this real emotional, real sexual, deep, strong connection between the two of you. The fourth reason that hookers don't serve you well in the long run, my friend, is when you run pickup the right way, when you run it the regular way and you meet regular girls. Eventually, you're going to run into women that you really connect with, women that you really like, because this girl is amazing. She's funny, she's smart. You really have this bond with her. She genuinely likes you, and you like spending time with her more than you do other girls. So eventually, you fall into a long-term relationship. Maybe she becomes your girlfriend. Maybe she just becomes a girl that you see regularly. And when you do regular pickup, what happens is you develop this huge pool of girls that you can kind of pick and choose from. I like this girl. I like that girl more. I had a great experience with this girl. You can pick and choose which girls you want to be your girlfriends. So you can line up 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 girlfriends and share these amazing connections, share these amazing long-term relationships with them. But when you rely on hookers, you're basically closing off that avenue to yourself, because hookers are typically emotionally damaged. Often they lack self-esteem. A lot of times they have drug problems, they have family problems, they have a lot of times mental problems like anxiety and depression. A lot of them have no long-term career prospects. A lot of them are basically losers. Now, that's not always the case. It's not a purely black and white issue here. There's certainly exceptions where the hooker has her life together in a pretty good way. And there's certainly regular non-working girls that have all kinds of mental problems or family problems or drug problems, so it's not completely black and white. But regardless, when you start using hookers to get laid, you are greatly narrowing and constricting your pool of girls that you can choose from to have sustainable, long-term, blossoming, healthy, amazing relationships with, because you're always putting that desire for a quick and easy fuck using a cheat code ahead of your prospects of building long-term relationships with healthy girls to have an amazing long-term relationship girlfriend with. Using hookers is like every time you get a paycheck, you just go to Las Vegas, you go to the casino, and you blow it. You blow that money away on one night of fun. Whereas using pickup on real girls is like taking that paycheck and investing that paycheck in the stock market, investing that paycheck in the real estate market so that it pays you dividends night after night after night after night. And the fifth reason that hookers do not serve you well, my friend, is because it's a fundamentally addictive hobby. There's no situation in nature where you would just pick up your phone, make a phone call, and suddenly a nubile young woman shows up at your door ready to have sex with you. There's no situation from thousands of years ago in hunter-gatherer societies where anything remotely like that could ever happen. So it literally fries your brain, your caveman brain, with overstimulation. So once you go down that slippery slope, once you start digging that hole of this habit, of this addictive habit, it becomes increasingly difficult to crawl your way back out of it later. So there's literally no situation where you could be like, well, I'll just do hookers for a year or two, and then maybe later I'll revisit, pick up, and do something different. It doesn't work like that, my friend, because months later, a year later, now your brain is getting addicted to all this overstimulation for just being lazy and comfortable and making absolutely no effort. You're also a year older or years older. You're less socially sharp. You're less mentally sharp. Maybe you're less physically healthy than you were before because it was so easy getting laid and you didn't make an effort to eat right or exercise. So now all this time later, going out and meeting real girls feels even more difficult, feels even more challenging. Getting rejected, going through that learning curve, going over that hump that's initially very difficult in pickup, you just don't want to do it because it's not comfortable and you're so used to being comfortable and so used to being lazy and just getting what you want from picking up a phone. And if you don't have the discipline to talk to real girls the right way, using cold approach, using pickup, using your social circle right now, you're not going to have the discipline a couple of years from now, where you're a couple of years older and you spent a couple of years ingraining this habit of just being comfortable and lazy, where you've spent a couple of years cementing your brain in this habit of just getting easy sex for no effort, using this cheat code again and again. It's not going to happen a couple of years from now if you don't have the discipline to start today. It's a path that once you start going down it is very hard to turn away from. And the guys I know who started using hookers ultimately could never walk away from it, even when they wanted to, even when they realized the subtle but real unhealthy aspects of using prostitutes. And the sixth reason that hookers do not serve you well, my friend, at least not in the long run, is because you are giving up on your best self. You are giving up on your best self that you can be. Your best self is that man who can go to his friends. Your best self is that man who can go to his family and tell them with pride, look at this amazing girl I'm dating. Your best self is that man who can walk through the pressure and walk through the fire and the fury of dating regular girls and come out the other side as this new man, forged as more charismatic, as more friendly and cool, as a stylish, sexy stud that has learned how to dress well and carry himself with class and with sexiness, so you can be this guy that can walk into a room and be the most attractive man to any of the girls there. Your best self is that guy who knows at his deepest core that he gave it his 100% best effort. So even if you fail with a couple of girls, at least you know you gave it your best. At least you know you strove to reach your highest potential. At least you strove to reach the peak of that mountain of success, which is something you shortchange yourself when you use of hookers. Those are feelings of pride that you cheat yourself out of feeling. Now I have a link right here, Girlfriend Express, which is a free presentation training program that will show you how to walk into any room, pick out that girl that you like most, that you have your eye on, how to say hello to her in a way that sparks attraction using special attraction triggers, how to keep the conversation going in a way where you never run out of things to say, and from there, how to tap into her submissive instinct so you can get that girl chasing after you. Have her call you, have her text you, have her chase you to meet up with her, all in a way that is simple and easy and fun. So it's like you're playing this really awesome video game where you just pressing the buttons and you get the results you want. So you can build this dream dating lifestyle, whether that dream is sleeping and experimenting with a whole string of beautiful girls, or whether your dream is to pick one of those girls out and turn her into this amazing, loyal, loving girlfriend who has your back for life. which is a lot better than, my friend, than just giving up on yourself and relying on hookers, because once again, there's a difference with that real girl next door that has a genuine arousal for you, that genuinely gets wet for you, where you have this real emotional and spiritual and physical connection, where a real smile, a big, genuine smile on that girl's face when she sees you, where her eyes light up and you know that you got her, my friend. You got her. And you can take pride in those relationships and take pride in telling your friends and family those stories, and happily ever after live the life that you've always wanted. So go check out that link right now, watch that free video presentation right now, and let me know what you think. All right, my friend, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. You are a champ. You are an action taker. You are the kind of guy this world needs right now. And if you're feeling the love, make sure to hit that subscribe button to catch all my future videos. Until next time, my friend, Jesse out.